I'm going to ask you all questions, so we'll start off. What's your name?
Garrett.
Gareth?
Garrett, how's video?
Okay. Did I spell that right?
2 R's, 2 T's, but I don't really care.
Garrett. Not okay. The joke I made with him was like, I'm a Notre Dame grad. You can't expect me to know how to spell, you know. So all right. So we got Garrett. All right. Thank you. And your name?
Kenzie.
Kinsey. All right. Help me out. So
Kenzie.
C-I-E. And miss in the back? All right. Katie. All right. Not to be mistaken for Katie's with Y's. You, sir. What's that?
Ned. N-E-D.
All right. Ned. All right. And Bailey? All right, E-Y or Y?
E-Y.
E-Y, all right, cool. B-A-I?
B-A-I.
Okay. All right, cool. Perfect. So my name is James Schleicher. If you can't pronounce my last name, don't worry about it. You're one of a bajillion people. Book I wrote is called It All Starts With a Plan. If you, I know in college I wasn't necessarily into reading stuff, so this is basically everything I learned the first 10 years after Notre Dame. And I was like, this is everything I wish I would have known going into business, going into career. But I talk about there having a 50-year life plan, which sounds insane, which is what I thought when I was told to do it by, it was like the former CEO of Shell Oil. And this was lucky to meet him at a networking event. And so yeah, basically starting with, what do you want out of life? I'm sorry, I got like a gajillion things all over the place here. Starting there first, and then building your career, your business, like whatever it's gonna be around this, okay? So, sounds crazy, but 50-year life plan, and what you do is just for the next 5 years, pick 3 goals. You want a financial goal, you want a personal goal, and you want a professional goal. And again, I can get more into this as we move along, but think of it as you're just kind of breaking out the next 5 years. And there's gonna be a million things you wanna do, there's a million things that go wrong. The best thing that ever happened to me was I couldn't find a job when I graduated here. I had a double major in English and communications. Double minor in psychology and writing, never took one finance class, one business class. I thought business people were evil. I thought money was evil. So, but now I know better. So ultimately, again, just breaking out 1 to 5 years. Everything 5 years and beyond, you kind of go in like 5-year increments. So you're like, okay, the next 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. So when I did this, I was 28 years old. Again, when I was in my Notre Dame days, I'm like, someone's 28, their life is over. So at that point, I kind of like, okay, well, how old will I be when I'm, 50 years from now? If I do this life plan thing this guy's talking about, like I'll be 78. I hope to be alive when I'm 78. I mean, now I have kids and everything, so like, now I'm married, have 2 kids, have, a team of about 8 people right now that I'm very blessed to work with. We're top 6% in the world at what we do. So it basically began with me knowing nothing, and I had $18 in checking. I had 50 grand in student loan debt from here. Thank you, Notre Dame. But again, not Notre Dame's fault. Who redshirts and goes a 5th year of college for cross country? This guy, this idiot. So not very, I love running, track, all that, but not a very high paying sport, especially if you're mediocre. So think of it as we really want to dive into like, where am I going to be? Like, what my aha moment was like, I might be dead. Like, I might not have all the time in the world, even though it feels like it. So no matter, like I'll be 38 next month. I was asking my wife, I'm like, should I shave my beard to like kind of be more relatable and look young? And she's like, James, she's like, the second you say you're married with kids, like, and you graduate at 7, like, you're old, dude. Like, let it go, So, just what I want to start with is just how old will each of you be 50 years from now? So, because again, it's just we want to create some sense of urgency in what we do on a day-to-day basis. but it has to be, like one of the things we talk about is legacy. And legacy means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But legacy is just basically how do you want to be remembered? You look at, maybe you're thinking about who's had the most impact in your life and what was their legacy. And it's not about being someone else, but it's like how can I also have impact in my community, in my family, and in the people around me. So Garrett, how old will you be in 50 years, brother?
71.
71, all right. Cool. Kenzie?
70.
70. Katie? 72. 72. Ned? 72. Bailey? 70. All right. You guys will all be coming back here like, I remember when I was at Notre Dame and this crazy dude came in talking about a life plan. So just again, keep that in mind. So I want you to take 10 seconds right now and really think about when you're that age, like, what do you want to be remembered for? I mean, really be thinking about that. You don't have to answer it now, but I want that question going through your mind as you're making decisions on a day-to-day basis, because if you can do that, you will magically be so far ahead of everybody else. And you'll be so far ahead of what you even thought you were capable of, okay? When I thought that where I would be, when I was talking about top 6% of the world, that ranking, I was like, when I'm 60, my business will hit that level. This is 8 years, I was 30 when I hit it. So really, this will put all your goals, all your dreams, everything you want, it's going to supercharge it and basically speed it up. Am I making sense? I'm going to slow down. I get all excited for this stuff. And I'm like, I have to change their lives. I have to. Right? Notre Dame changed the world change the world one student at a time, right? So, all right. So what I want to start with is, again, I kind of mentioned $18 in checking, 50 grand student loan debt. So I could run track we didn't even have a track, and end up canceling the track program, all that stuff. So, but just something that, what it did teach me was that, I'm like, show me the impossible, now I'm interested. Tell me I can't do something, now I'm interested. Tell me it can't be done, and now you have my attention. Now I feel like I got something I want to work towards. So, when I graduated, couldn't find a job, business, finance, they're always hiring, because very few people make it. So just, does anybody know anyone that runs a small business in their area? What business?
Swim. So they're at swim school. You teach kids how to swim.
Okay.
I worked there over the summer. And
Okay.
They kind of rented out a place where they had a pool.
Okay.
And they're getting a new facility. So.
All right. How long have they been doing it?
I'd say a couple of years.
Couple years. Okay.
I don't know how long, but I just started working in the summer. So.
Okay. Perfect. Any other, whether it's a family, friend that owns a business, where you come from? Any restaurants in your area? So I don't know where you are, where you're from, but is there a go-to restaurant around town that's like a family restaurant, been around forever? Can anybody think of it? There's no restaurants where you live? What's that?
There was a sandwich shop.
Okay.
That's very well known.
Okay. Where are you from, bud?
Michigan.
Michigan? Okay. All right.
So me and my family just started going there this year.
Okay.
It's been around since the 70s.
In the 70s? Okay.
So it's been around a long time, and it's pretty good.
Awesome. So, thank you. Thank you, Bailey. Extra credit right there. Do most businesses, so if we open up a sandwich shop and we even try to literally steal everything,
Yeah.
we have the same sandwiches, we have the same ingredients, same everything, and we're gonna call it Ned's Awesome Sub Spot, whatever. And so we open it up around here. So Ned, what's the chances that we're gonna succeed?
Not high,
Not high. Why?
because it's the same as everyone else's. So why on earth would you go to a new place which is the same, rather than somewhere that's new and not trusted?
Okay. But it's Ned's awesome stuff, dude. It's my favorite. So you're gonna most likely blend in somehow. But so we don't have a reputation around here in Michigan, right? You say, well, it's the same ingredients from. What's the name? Do you know the name of the sub shop?
Pops.
Pops. Okay.
I think it's what goes by.
So even if we called it Pops and we open up around here, do we have any street cred at all? Do we have any branding around here? Nothing, right? So think of it as wherever you go, your personal brand goes with you. And will also precede you. So this past summer, we had the whole awards thing for our firm. All good times. I may have made a fool of myself the one night, and the one of the higher ups said, James, there's things most of what you do is very good for your personal brand. Last night was not good for your personal brand, okay? That hurt. He could have said way worse. There's a way worse ways he could have pretty much told me, don't be an idiot. But just understand that we're all human. We're going to have these good moments, bad moments. But your personal brand, your reputation, that's going to be the number one thing that keeps you in business. Does that make sense? So, and by it's not you don't even have to start a business, but like, why should I? If you're at a company for 5 years, why should I promote you? Of course, you're going to tell me that you should be promoted, right? It's you. But what's your reputation with the people around you? Am I making sense? Okay. So, I'm going to get into the fundamentals. All right. This is all I'm going to just call on you for this. George said that you've been kind of getting into the fundamentals of what it is to be successful in career and all that. What's the actual name of this class? I should have asked this like.
Business and government.
Business and government. Okay.
Yes, very dry.
Business and government?
Yes, it's so what we did this year was 1 day, it's 2 day week class.
Yeah.
1 day we would do textbook, here's what you need to know
Yeah.
for the blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, either real world applicability to what we talked about.
Yeah.
Or stuff like this.
Awesome. Okay. So business and government. So who was more drawn to the business part? Okay. Everybody? Okay. So we got business Garrett, business Kenzie. That's supposed to be a B. Business, I can't draw. All right. Okay. Let's look at the heart. What am I doing? Oh man. They're gonna take back my diploma. So business. Any of you interested in government? So kind of. All right. There's nothing against government. Nothing. That's your path. But like definitely George is a great resource there too. George. When people ask me about George, I'm like, first I don't know how he does it, but he's one of the few people I know that has the talent, the skill, resilience to basically win in the private sector as well as win in the public sector. Because when you're saying, so why I was like so flabbergasted is because like we talk about business and government, you don't hear the and, you hear the business versus government or business or government. So, but here's the deal: if you do not play politics, whether it's in the public sector, private sector, you will not get anything done. You could have the best idea in the world. If you don't play the game, you can't expect to hit your goals, okay? I hate it. I was captain. I don't play politics. I just work my tail off. Nobody works harder than me. I'll get the results, bro. But when it came time for promotions, so it's probably, sorry, my shoes are squeaking too. I just realized that too. Very ADD too. Sorry about that. Apologize. Very sporadic here. It's probably 8-9 years ago. It was my promotion to have. And it was all mine. Talked about it was like 6 months going back and forth of like, okay, how's this gonna look? How's it gonna work? Who are you gonna work with? And another guy in a different office, unbeknownst to me, said that, well, I'd be interested in that position. And like that, he was promoted. They were done dilly-dallying with me because I didn't play politics. I didn't play nice. I was like, well, I'm the best. My numbers are the best. My results are the best. So if you're the best at something, that's great, but if you can't get people to follow you, you can't get people to work with you, it doesn't matter. So, any of you play sports here? Everybody? Okay. What sport? Swim. All right. So, Bailey, swim. All right. Ned, Soccer, all right. Volleyball, all right. All right, Kinsey.
I'm part of the performing arts.
Performing arts, awesome. And Garrett?
Football.
Football, all right. So this is perfect as to where I'm heading with all of this stuff. Garrett, you're the greatest football player to ever live. It's just you. If it's Tom Brady out there by himself, can he win?
I mean, no.
No, right? So think of it in business, career is sport. It's performing arts. It's very much performing arts, okay? It's one of the guys on our team that he helps train everybody on our team in different, how to run a meeting, how to use different how to use certain language to help people basically move forward instead of kind of like, I'm trying not to say the word sales. Everything's sales. I'm trying to sell you to listen to me right now, right? And there's a voice in your head saying, this guy is dumb, he's all over the place, he's got a squirrel brain, there's no way that he could even know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? So like, think of it, I'm trying to sell you that what I'm talking about is real. All right, so what the gentleman on our team is doing is, like, you ever heard of like Sandler sales? George, have you heard of Sandler sales? I don't know if you have something to write down with, but like, write down Sandler sales somewhere in your phone. Tattoo it on your arm. So Sandler sales. You know, they got different like YouTube videos, they got all different stuff. So it's meant for like mostly like the business world, but understand that every conversation's a negotiation, every conversation's a sales pitch of sorts. Like my wife's trying to sell me to do more dishes, and I'm trying to sell her that I don't like them. I don't want to do more dishes. I suck at it. And I always lose. She's the best salesperson in our house. Sandler sales is probably the best training that I've found that is like, it's not your, it's how to talk to humans and help humans hit their goals versus how to like try to be a sleazeball and lie to them. But basically if you can't help people move forward, then you're going to quit very soon. If you can't help others hit their goals, you're never going to hit yours. I'm going to say that again. If you can't help others hit their goals, you'll never hit yours. All right? And I'm going this whole thing, circle back, he always talks about sales and business is a Broadway show. I was even talking to one of the guys on our team. He sent out an email, and I called him up and said, hey, man, you said this, and you said that. Just flip them. Because it was one of the things I was listening to last week said, hey, if you send an email or a text or a message, whatever, say what you want first, and then go to, hey, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. How things in Notre Dame? It's been a while. Like, actually, I went to Notre Dame too. I don't know if you knew. Like, so think of it as keep the pleasantries second, because if you start off with, if I'm like, Katie, how are you? Remember me from Notre Dame? How's it going? Da, 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 da. And I'm going on, like, I've been following you, so you're doing great things. Like, we should grab coffee sometime, see if we can do business, promote each other. Oh, hey, by the way, like, I'm up for this award, and I was looking to get some votes for this online. Everything, and I probably meant it, right? I was probably being genuine, like, hey, let's get coffee. Like, I see you're doing great things. Does she think that I truly meant anything of what I said in the beginning? But if I switch it around, say, hey, Katie, sorry this is out of the blue. Sorry, please tell me if I'm just being annoying, and you don't have to donate, but I'm doing this fundraiser for United Way or whatever it might be. Also, it's been a while. Would love to catch up, get coffee. I see you're doing great things. Da, 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 da. So if I start with what you really want first, and then so like again talking about the Broadway shows, sure that I played 1 year of soccer when I was like 7 years old, and I was terrible at it. So like I can't make too many comparisons, but I'm sure you run certain plays to deceive the other team, right? Like you're not just like, hey man, I'm kicking it straight. Like you're trying to fake people out. Like everything you do is a Broadway show. Am I making sense? You're doing a great Broadway show that I'm not annoying you too much right now. All right, cool. So fundamentals, let's get going with this. So Q&A, Gary, what's a fundamental if I want to be successful for business and government?
I mean, not only work hard, but I would say network.
Okay, so we got work hard and network. All right, Kinsey.
I was gonna say network as well, but
Okay.
I think another big part is like know what's going on around you.
Okay, how would you define that? Like, how could you be more
Like-
specific?
Especially if you like want to run your own business, you need to know like specific laws. You need to know like not how to treat people. Like you need to be more aware of like what's going on in the bigger bubble rather than just your bubble.
Gotcha. So, so awareness. So we'll say community, regulations, and laws. Does that make sense? Keeping it legal is important. All right? Do not break the law. Bad idea. Katie, go ahead.
Like have goals, like know what you want to do, have goals.
Mm-hmm. Have goals. Have life goals. All right, cool. It's supposed to be an S. That's supposed to be S. All right, cool. One day. Then my man, what would you say? Confidence? All right. I like that. Book I'm listening to right now is called Truth and Lies, about like nonverbal body language and how most of what we're taught about body language is wrong. But it says, so confidence, like they're just getting into like online dating. So like for me, like the dating part of my life is gone, but I'm interested because I'm learning a lot about just how like first impressions interacting with people. But one of the things they're talking about, like there are these experts talking about whether it's your LinkedIn profile, dating profile, the best color eyes to have are confident ones. So it doesn't matter about the color of your eyes, it's how confident you look. And so just confidence is a big thing. And you might hear fake it till you make it. There's a big difference between confidence and cockiness. All right? So it's a fine line, but this is a very good one because a lot of these, you can see this. You can see you following the law. You can see yourself. It's more of like you can see yourself out networking, see yourself having goals. Like this is something that is completely like you. Does that make sense? Like no one can like, hey, you're hired for confidence training. I mean, it's like you can't fake that. All right. So Bailey, go ahead. Personability. All right. Know how to talk to humans, interact with humans, understand humans. So I have a question. What do you all have to say about like majority of people my age, George's age, and above, your future selves being like, kids these days just don't know how to talk to people, man. Like they don't know how to communicate, they're all on their phones. Like what do you all have to say? I'm just very interested.
I mean, I feel like in a sense, like, I almost like with me, like, I feel like I'm like a step above, like my father. Like my father probably thinks that, but I feel like I'm smarter than him just because I'm smarter with technology, and at the same time, I still know how to talk to people and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think it necessarily makes me not be able to talk to people and like makes me anti, but I feel like it kind of helps me.
Okay. So you see it as a strength, not a weakness.
Mhm.
Technology is a strength. Knowing more about technology is a strength, right? Okay, I love it.
It could also be seen as a weakness though, because like it's been found that technology now is just one of the biggest mental health problems for people
Huge.
because of the pure fact that
Huge.
like even like so I have 2 younger siblings. So like my younger siblings are growing up purely based on technology, growing purely on technology, and like it can really damage the way like people talking to one another. They are so used to like talking to people online that it can become like they can come with like anxiety, social anxiety, not knowing how to approach people the right way.
Yeah. Lots of this. Right? And no, and was it? I think Netflix is called Social Dilemma. Have you guys seen that documentary? I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And so that's where I think what's cool is your generation is going to figure out, okay, we got this technology stuff. It's making us smarter. It's making us better. It's not going anywhere. How do we start to kind of re-implement more of the human side to not create this huge constant anxiety that, like, I mean, like for me, like I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I'm not going to be able to escape technology and not knowing, you know, what is the next TikTok or the next whatever, you know what I mean? So like, but what scares me to death is like the suicide rates. That really bothers me. So that's something, again, it's going to be cool because every generation thinks that the generation below them is just, you know, like, oh, they're not the same. They don't get it. You know, so it's just just understand every generation thinks it's special, and it's not. We all, it's yes, the world's a little different. We're all humans. We all do the same thing, and we all forget everything has happened in someone else's lifetime or someone else's country. Okay, nothing is new. Global pandemic, it's happened before, but none of us were around for it, right? So, cool. Kate, what do you think?
Oh, I agree with what she's saying. Probably more negative than positive, but I don't know. I also just feel like technology like nowadays is different, so there is like this is like a different form of communication. But I think there are positives and negatives to it.
Yep. I like it. No, I like it. Remember, I didn't get a cell phone until I was like junior at college. I just remember like I'd meet people and they're like, I'm like, here's my dorm phone number. Like, hey, I'm mailbox 2 or voicemail box 2, and they'd be like, all right, dude, if you didn't want me to call you, you just tell me, you know, like. But I'm like, no, I don't really have a cell phone. But yeah, it's a whole different world. So I like it. Bailey, what you think, bud?
I think it's moving forward. Like, it can help people a lot in the business. So like, let's say 5 years ago, each one of us might have been a lot harder without cell phones. It came a long way, so like people can sign up on their cell phone for different things. Makes it just a lot easier.
Yeah, I could technically swim in my bathtub virtually and get swimming lessons, kind of thing. So, all right.
Like Zoom, you can
Yeah, yeah.
get it through Zoom,
Yeah.
FaceTime, really anything.
Okay, I like it.
Especially with the pandemic, Zoom is big. So
It's and that's the pandemic's probably the best thing that ever happened for forcing technology into different age groups. That, like, even for me, I just look at technology and it stops working. So again, it's not that I don't respect it. It's not that I don't want to use it. I just suck with it. You know what I mean? So that's cool. Then what do you think, bud?
I think you need to find balance when it comes in a business sense. All the people can have a go and say, oh, you're never off your phone, but if it came between me and someone who doesn't really know how to use technology, and it was a Zoom interview because of COVID, I don't know what I'm doing, whereas they wouldn't.
Correct.
But then if it's a face-to-face interview, then it evens it out more. So I still need to learn how to talk to people.
Yep.
Face-to-face.
Yes, you have to, and I think you hit the nail on the head, is every generation goes through some type of transition, some type of, now the speed of technology is just, it's like never before, but here's the exciting news. What do you got to do? Technology, you know, dealing with different generations, different age groups. What do you got to do? You got to do it all. No pressure. Just got to be able to do it all, some way, shape, or form. I am not good with technology. My team in the last year or two has kicked me off of anything to do with technology that I don't absolutely have to do. It's awesome for me because I get to focus on the pieces that I'm the best in the world at. Does that make sense? So like, you have to start here, right? We have to start somewhere. The goal is, you're talking about like, work your strengths and delegate or hire your weaknesses. So if you're not good at stuff, like you have to find a way to get through it. But like that should be like one of your number one goals if you're going into business, even if you're not even running your own business. How do I find a way to get the results to where I can justify my company hiring someone to support me? Does that make sense? So build your team. Build your team, right? Right, George? Awesome. Cool. I like it. I agree with all of this. And you can literally, we could probably Google, YouTube, and find 3 bajillion podcasts on all these things. But it all is, my point I'm trying to go, it's all important. All right? And you're going to be better at certain things. Find careers, find industries that play to your strengths. My strength was not knowing what I was doing. My strength was loving and caring and fighting for the human being I was serving harder than anybody. I still take pride in that. I dare you to fight for my clients like I do, okay? So you can always learn the textbook stuff. So when he's talking about, George talking about the textbook, here, like I said, this is everything I wish I would have been able to read in a textbook, and I couldn't. Okay, you have to get up and you got to fail. And failure, you're going to hear this another million different ways, but I see like failure is learned. Like it's not failure if you learn from it. Okay. So even my 4-year-old and 2-year-old, I'm just trying to implement in them like, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. When Dad was your age, he made the same exact mistakes, but we have to learn from them. Okay, so otherwise our 7-year-old selves are gonna be like, yeah, the kids these days, they don't get anything. So, cool. Anything that you would add to the fundamentals? Anything you think that we missed? Is there anything that you want to add to that?
I would almost say like quality over quantity. Like it's the quality of the way you do things. It doesn't matter how much you do, but it's how you do it, and if you can do it well.
I like it. Like
Having fun.
the fundamentals. So have fun. All right, cool. Do you guys think I'm having fun up here? Okay, this is fun. Do you think that I was sitting in your exact seats as a student at Notre Dame? Do you think I envisioned this? I did, somehow. When I graduated, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. But I'm going to come back here 10, 15, 20 years from now, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to share what I've learned. I have no idea what I'm going to do. But I'll be, like Terminator, I'll be back. You know what I mean? So think of it as I'm sure there's things that you can see yourself doing. And be on the lookout for those things where your gut instinct, like you already know what you were meant to do. You already know what you're born to be, okay? It sounds cheesy, sounds cliche stuff, but like the things that you can see yourself doing, you're like, it's not gonna be pretty, but you gotta just find a way to do those things. Otherwise, you will have zero fun. If you're not having fun, what's the point? There is a lot of stress in my life. A lot. And I'll tell you some ways I help with stress in my routines, but understand that for me, the fun part is it's going into the unknown, going into the impossible, creating new ways. I talk about your generations and you're going to find new ways, better ways to do things that I couldn't even comprehend. And that's the cool part. So in quality and quantity, when you're starting in business, you can always go for quality. But understand, do you still have to pay your bills? Even if you have like the perfect client, even if you don't have you're never gonna have the perfect anything for a long time. So a lot of times in business, you're looking for quality, but you're also kind of accumulated the quantity. Think of like when I started my business, I knew people that were still living in the dorms here. And pretty much, that was pretty much my network, okay? Those were my big baller business buddies that were, still could barely get gas money because they'd rather buy beer. So it's good times. But this is all great. Anything else you would add? Anything we did not cover here that we should have?
Maybe like preparation.
Okay. Which is a perfect segue into this. If you're not prepared, so first off, are you ever going to be prepared for anything and everything that could happen in any situation? No. One of the things that I try to tell the people we work with is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Business Owner, we plan, we prepare. It's always a game time decision, right? So like you show up to swim, and if I'm not saying the correct terms of your sport and your format, I apologize. But it's swim meet, right? So if you show up to swim meet all week, especially with COVID world, right? All week, just all season, you're like, all right, so-and-so is gonna be on this relay, so-and-so is gonna do this event, so-and-so is gonna do that, da-da-da-da. Oh, hey, by the way, Susie, Freddie, they both have COVID, and then, so they're quarantined, and then Bailey was trying to set a world record in push-ups and separated his shoulder a little bit, whatever it is, stuff just crumbles. All right, so it's always a game time decision. Is it impossible for the Notre Dame College swim team to win? Better believe it. So we're just going to tape you up, man. Be all right. We'll stitch you back together. You'll be good. Get in the pool. So just think of just what you have to understand is you want to be prepared for anything, but I swear, especially those meetings and those conversations, those moments that you're the most prepared for, the first question out of the other person's mouth is something that's the only thing you didn't prepare for. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Just be ready, know your stuff, and be flexible, adapt, all right? Everything is a game time decision. So preparation, so you're trying to prepare for a business meeting, for business stuff, strategies, etc., right? Does it matter how good the business plan is if you're not in the right state of mind? If you are not okay inside, does it matter what's going on outside? Not at all, okay? So, and that's another thing that I'm very excited for your generation is you're like, hey, mental health, it's important. Sanity is important, okay? We don't just work ourselves into the ground and just pretend that nothing bad's happening here. So routine is everything because you can't control anything. We literally have zero control. Why do we get angry? Why do we get so mad at so many things? Because they go right or because they go wrong? Okay, so they went wrong, but in order for it to go wrong, we have to have, and I think I can spell this word, expectations, right? Our expectations will cause so much stress in our lives. We expect people to act a certain way. We expect the world to operate a certain way. It's not that you don't stop fighting to make the world better, to make your relationships better, to make yourself better, but understand you can't control anything other than literally what you do. And routine, basically, example that I'll give you, so Michael Jordan, everybody heard of him? He had a lot of things that weren't in his control, right? But every single game, he got ready in the same exact way. He laced up a brand new pair of shoes, same exact way. Someone else tried to help him with that, he would get a whole nother pair of shoes because you just messed up his routine. He would get on the floor, chest pass, first thing, every time. Greatest player in the world doing a chest pass. So routine, you'll know when your routine is off or your routine is not serving you, because you're going to kind of, like, it's going to feel more like you're at the mercy of life. Like life's just kind of, like you're a ragdoll, like it's just throwing you around. When you have your routine dialed in, you're doing the things that serve you and help you, it's more of you're looking at life happening. It's like you're separated from the situation. So have you ever been there where like something happens, something bad happens, or something goes wrong, and you're able to kind of be on the outside looking in and say, okay, that's not good. Got to figure this out. It's okay. Most times it's when something happens to someone else, right? Is it easier to look at someone else's situation and be like, it's okay. All you got to do is this. Like right, I am preaching to you, right? All you got to do is this to have life goals, bro. Right? But you're like, you don't know me. You know my situation. So it's a lot easier to look at someone else. When something is happening to you, is it very difficult to separate yourself from the situation? Have you ever been mad and done something you're not proud of? You don't have to tell me. But like, have you ever been angry and done something, said something, you're like, why? I've yet to meet anybody who was super angry, had their expectations shattered, and acted out. They're like, man, I'm really proud of that. I'm so glad I called so-and-so and cussed them out. I'm so glad I blew up at that, at that event. So understand what we're trying to do is create separation between us and then what's happening. Does that make sense? So what are some things that, we'll go around this way. Bailey, what's one thing that maybe part of your routine on a daily basis that helps you kind of get into the best state of mind? And maybe it's just something you do before a swim meet. Is there like certain rituals you have?
I usually listen to music.
Okay.
Before like a race, just
Yep.
get in the zone.
Are you like me and you listen to the certain song? I have good luck songs, and then I'll listen to certain songs, I love them, and then like something bad will happen. I'm like, I can't listen to that anymore.
I'll play a song. If it's not the right thing, I'm not feeling it, I'll skip it.
There you go.
I'll find the right song.
There you go. Gotta have the song. All right, cool. So music. Now, what about you?
On a day-to-day basis, I always have a tea in the morning.
Tea? Perfect. What kind?
Yorkshire tea, is where I'm from. It's its own brand.
What's it called?
It's called Yorkshire tea.
How do you spell that?
Y-O-R-K.
Y-O-R-K?
S-H-I-R-E.
Yorkshire. All right, cool. I'm sorry, man. Are you from England? Okay, all my buddies from England in the dorms and all that, they're like, Shlaka, you still can't understand what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Sorry. But, so I'm sorry. I try to understand the accents. I will get better for you, Ned. So I appreciate it. So my buddies all used to get mad at me because I can't understand English according to my wife either. So, that's a whole other thing. So we've got Yorkshire tea, very good. Now, do you do it for like the caffeine? Is there caffeine in it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's more like is it kind of like, walk me through that. So I understand like the music, get you pumped up or chill you out, whatever, get you in the zone. How does that tea help you kind of get in the zone?
I mean, it just like sets me up for the day, really. It's not like I can feel the caffeine or anything like that, but it's just when I've grown up, I've always had one in the morning. I suppose it makes me feel like home almost.
Mm-hmm. Separates you from where, right? The separation. Cool. Katie.
I go over like the game plan for the day, or like even sports like just kind of quick and stuff, so I just kind of study it like what the plan is.
Okay. So, game plan for the day. So do you have like a calendar? Like you have your like calendar and you look at like, hey, I got these classes today, I got that. How does that work?
I have like a little calendar, and then each day I'll like write out my list of what I'm doing, and I'll put like in details like, oh, this free time I'll get lunch, or I'll like read or do like different things. So just like I have like a detailed like thing of what I want to do today.
Awesome. Now, does it always go perfectly? No. All right. Is that normal?
Yeah, a lot of times it changes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome. So again, preparation with no expectations. All right, I'm gonna get all this. I'm gonna have my tea. I'm gonna listen to my music, and my game plan. And at 2:37, I'm gonna get this studying done. At 3:41, I'm gonna I got this class. So like, but then life happens, right? So just understand, most people allow the stress of their expectations going wrong and their preparation going wrong. Like, they can't get ahead. They can't win. All right, so think of like in all your, I'm sure you've seen it, someone's up on stage, they screw up a line, and it's like they can't function after that, right? And they're great people. Same thing in all your sports. And I know for me, I've had like certain moments in sports where I just like, I'm that guy. That I had that one thing goes wrong and just the whole race falls apart. So have you guys seen that in your sports? Okay. So again, how do we make sure that we're taking these lessons from performing arts and sports and transferring it over to everyday life? Okay, because it's the same. Life's a game. Life is it's a Broadway show and it's a game. All right, Kinsey.
I always clean my room and make my bed in the morning and then set
Okay.
out everything I need for that day.
Okay. Clean room, make bed, set out. My little hack is I'll put anything I need to go with me. I like block the door with all my stuff. My wife yells at me, so like my wife's amazing. So I always say she's like yelling at me for stuff, but it's just because I'm an idiot. But she's like, it's a fire hazard. But like for me, like I literally have to like blockade myself from forgetting stuff. So all right, so walk me. So a clean room. There's I believe George. I know you're working hard back there, buddy. Was it a Navy general? Who was the Navy person that gave the speech about make your bed every morning?
Oh. That guy.
He's awesome. He's a good dude. Go way back.
Eric sent me that book.
Yes. Okay. So you can just literally Google, YouTube, make your bed every day speech. So what's cool is your routine is literally the same as like this legendary Navy guy. So like walk me through. So what does this do for you?
So I suffer from really bad OCD.
Okay.
So like everything has to be the way I like it, or it kind of like freaks me out and like will basically take me from being like up here to down here very quick. So every morning I typically wake up around the same time. I'll always get out of bed, like do dishes if I have them, clean all my room, put everything back where it goes, and then I finally make my bed. And then after doing that, I'll set out like what I'm wearing for the day, all the books I need for my day. I basically write a list of like the homework assignments I need to do for that day. Like I basically set out my entire day in that morning.
That's sweet. All right. Yeah, so all of you are doing way more than I was. I was just like rolling out of bed hoping that I didn't forget whatever class I was supposed to go to. So, no, this is awesome. So it's perfect. So again, just think of like like everybody kind of has their OCD thing. Like I'm not trying to like do that, but just if that's your thing, take pride in your thing. That's what I'm saying. Whatever your thing is, take pride in it, and build. I'm talking about like build everything else around your life and who you are and your personal brand. So very good. Thank you, Garrett.
I don't. There's not really like a specific thing. I mean, like if I don't, obviously like hygiene, like if I don't wake up, like shower, brush my teeth, eat something, like I feel off.
Okay.
But, like in the morning, I like to, I guess, talk to God, say a prayer before I do something.
Perfect. Walk me through, what does that do for you? How does that?
I guess it just keeps my mind and my heart pure, and like just gives me like, I guess, strength to go on and like attack the day, like gives me some type of motivation.
Yeah. It's so think of it. Everybody's got their unique thing, right? And so I wasn't sure exactly where this can go, but like this routine, like I have a specific time that I use music, and certain music. It has to be my good luck music. I've been mixing black tea and chamomile tea. I can't even say chamomile tea, but I'm like, okay, I'll get the upper and the chill with it. So I don't know if that's actually scientific, but and then the game plan, I'm obsessive about like I do it like the night before, writing out like, okay, at 9 o'clock at this meeting, 10 o'clock I'm gonna do this, da 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 da. And then I wish I could say I clean my room and make my bed, but like setting everything out, very important. And then so like for me, I journal. So like, there's all different types of journaling, prayer. Like there's all different types of these things. One thing I do want you to check out, if you can, write this down: tm.org. It's called. Anybody heard of transcendental meditation? So it's a nonprofit. The Beatles did it. My idol Ray Dalio did it, who's like the top hedge fund manager in the world. I'm trying to think who else. It's a bunch of other people that did it, but understand, like, so this is, you can get trained on it. I believe it's Beechwood Library. I think they still do it, train on it, but it's like, it's income-based. Like, their goal is not, they want everybody doing it, but it's basically 10 to 20 minutes in the morning. But of all, like, so we're talking about all these different things, different morning routines, be very interested if this is something that can serve you like it did me. Like, this was the first time, this was like 3 years ago. I always found a way externally to like calm myself down. I was never like completely chilled out inside. When I do this, I'm always doing this too. When I do that, like, my world could implode, and I'm able to have that separation of like, we should do something about this, and not overreacting, okay? So, but this is awesome. So you guys already have it. Name of the game: how do you take this and build on it and optimize it? It's just like anything in business. All right, so look at Apple. They made the iPhone, right? Changed the world. Then they found a way, like, okay, this works for me, this works for us, how do we make it better? How do we make it better? How do we make it better? So that just always be trying to put yourself of yesterday out of business, if that makes sense. But you have to be, again, expectations, be careful, because you can find yourself not being happy because, like, well, I want to be like this, or I want to stop, like I have this habit and I want to change it to that habit and I want this routine, da da da. You got to meet yourself where you're at, all right? You got to love yourself where you're at. Anything else to add to routines? You guys are awesome. This is good. You guys are so much farther ahead than me. Dave, were you doing this? No? George, were you doing? Dave, you didn't go to class? You're like, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to work with cameras. So Dave is the man. By the way, there's so many video photography people out there that we've worked with in the past, and they show up. They do the work, and they never get paid because they don't understand the concept of finishing a job, finishing a task, right? So in business, you got to be able to cross the finish line. And people are going to have crazy expectations of what you should be capable of, and especially in the beginning, in the early days. Hey, that's pretty much impossible. I'll figure it out, right? You have to kind of earn the right to be like, nope, we can't. For me, like, I'm booked out 3 years, 4 years from now. Okay, I have meetings set 3, 4 years from now. But it didn't start that way. Okay, if I ask someone to meet me in 3 years, they're like, yeah, you're not going to be around. So you guys are killing it. George, you didn't have these routines?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I got one.
You got one?
You taught me.
Which one?
So what I do is, I'm gonna piggyback off Kenzie. My stuff's gotta be organized to a fault.
Okay.
Before I go to bed.
Okay.
Dishes have to be done, all the stuff's gotta be put away. You've been in my house, it's not that hard.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Tiny, but it's cute.
It's beautiful. The cutest.
But stuff's gotta be organized.
Yeah.
And my desk has to be organized, because if I get up and stuff's messy, it literally throws me off for the day. And my problem is I'm very bullet pointy.
Like this?
Yep, my calendar is wake up, eat this, that, then if you don't get to it, you can at least see it and move to the next
Yeah.
thing. So this guy said to me, he goes, we were talking about it one day, I don't know where we were, or how 3 sheets to the wind we were, but we were talking about it, and he's like, you get thrown off real easy, start getting up earlier in the morning. What time do you normally get up? And I says, normally like 6:30-ish, you know, depending on the day, but that's a typical time. You know, take the dogs out, do this, do that. So what operative word is try, nobody's perfect.
Right.
What I try to do is get up at 5:30. I have that hour of nobody's gonna, like, nobody bothers me.
Mhm.
I can get up, I can wash my face, brush my teeth, make a cup of coffee. When I used to smoke, I'd go have a dart and make breakfast. Like, then when the chaos starts, I've been up a little bit, I got a couple cornholio juices in me, you know, and I'm ready to go. So that's helped
Yeah.
me. Now, for others that are more night people, whatever. Now,
Yeah.
the problem I have is doing the junior achievement stuff, teaching here and running a basketball team. Sometimes my early mornings turn into late nights.
Mhm.
So, but it's still my 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is now my 5:30 in the morning. I organize, I get stuff done, I go through emails like that. So that way, if I don't get up at 5:30, I don't feel all screwed up. So that's kind of my routine, is have that like hour or two of
So what?
George time for that.
George time. All right. So I think we need Garrett time, Kenzie time, Katie time, Ned time, Bailey time. You're creating. You need like everybody. So that everybody's got the same 24 hours a day. Da da da. You have to create time, and you have to create space.
So
So
don't feel guilty, not to
Yeah.
jump in, but like,
yeah.
I'm always going Mach 4 with my hair on fire, and sometimes I just need an hour.
Mhm.
And sometimes I get this guilt feeling like, okay, I'm sitting down watching the Tom Brady series on ESPN Plus, which you should watch, it's awesome.
Hey, watch it. Yeah.
It's, but I feel guilty, but I'm like, no, I can't do it constantly.
I have a
Else I'm
question
gonna
though.
break down.
When you watch things, especially like the Tom Brady stuff,
Yeah,
are you not?
I take notes.
You're pulling things out of, okay, Tom Brady did this, Tom Brady did that. I can go and now apply it to this.
I've pulled 3 things already from that, not from him per se, but like the Patriots culture and how they run their team
Mhm.
that I've implemented already in my team.
Yep.
And we're literally a brand new team with no money, and we're 21st in the nation.
Yeah. Booyah.
Stop.
So,
But it's because of that.
correct.
It's not just pure basketball talent.
correct,
It's the culture and the system that we're implementing.
correct. There's always a lesson to be learned in everything. You're watching a movie, playing video games, whatever it is. There's always a lesson to pull from it. The reason why most people don't excel, they don't, get above mediocrity, is they're watching the same things as you. They're doing the same things as you. But they're not learning and pulling from this. That makes sense? They're just with the definition of insanity is like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting it to be different. So, no, this is all good stuff. I remember that conversation. This morning, I was up at 3:30 in the morning today. Same deal. When this guy's talking about have a life plan and get up early, blah, blah, blah. The CEO of our firm, I asked him, how do you get up so early? I've been trying, I try, and I would hit the snooze button for 4 hours, and my wife was ready to kill me. I just couldn't do it. I wasn't wired to get up early. I could stay up all night working and doing whatever. It was like studying literally all night for finals or just any test in general here. And I would just cram all night. Show up half dead, take the test, regurgitate the information, and forget it all after I pass it. But what our CEO told me, if you have to write this down, I beg you. My family doesn't, I'll repeat it. My family doesn't miss me when they're sleeping. So I'll say again, my family doesn't miss me when they're sleeping. Now, if you're comfortable sharing or not, like, I don't know if any of you have kids, if you're married, like, are you guys all single, no kids right now? No kids? Okay. So, this is before I had kids, thank God, because kids, you just don't sleep. But understand is, the question you want to ask yourself, who are the people in my life that matter? First being you, right? You have to create that space for you, your time, only you time, to do whatever it is that gets you ready for the day. All hell can break loose and you're ready. You already got your routine. But like my wife, I mean, we wouldn't be married if I didn't have that conversation. So this was 2014. And I made a vow to myself when I started my business, I will work every hour, every day, until I drop for 10 years. And if I built a great business, awesome. If I built a crap business, then I got to deal with it, or anything in between. So for me, getting up early means that I'm home by usually 6:30. All right? Now, I still run late meetings sometimes. I don't work weekends anymore, okay, unless someone asks me, they can't meet during the week. But that saved my marriage. That's also why I'm able to be a father that's present. The battle is just, especially if you're in business, your business is your kid before you have a kid. It is your spouse before you have a spouse. It is your everything before you have the whatever is going to be next. So if you can figure out a way to basically do the things you got to do while the people you love and they love you are sleeping, they're not awake to miss you. They're not awake to be mad at you. They're not awake to have their expectations, let down. So that's the most powerful thing that I've learned and I've lived. And talking about, again, going from top 6% in the world, like putting that on overdrive, it's because what I will tell you, and I tell people, is the early bird gets everything because no one's awake to stop it. Does that make sense? And also, what I found out after the fact when I switched from being a night owl to early bird, when I'm sending you an email at 1:30 in the morning last night, technically that's before if I sent you an email this morning at 4, right? I'm actually ahead of, if I'm a night owl, I'm technically beating my morning bird self. Does that make sense? But if you receive an email and it says 1:30 in the morning, do you think I'm ahead in my life, in business, or do you think I'm behind? I send you that same exact email at 4 a.m., technically later, farther behind. Are you impressed that I sent it to you at 4 a.m. and you think I'm ahead of schedule, or do you think I'm behind? Okay? So again, talking about how do I show people I work hard and that I'm a quality business person, I'm a quality person, that I have awareness, that I have goals, that I'm confident, I'm prepared. If you can be the early bird and just get your stuff done then, first off, no one's awake to get in your way, no one's awake to interrupt you. And what I found too, nothing good happens after 10 p.m. at night. There's nothing but trouble waiting for you. I've unfortunately been there many moons. So, but cool. We're how are we doing on time? Got 5 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this up with some bonus tips. Thank you so much.
You can also queue up emails to go out at a certain time. I just didn't say that.
Yes.
I've done that.
You can hack the
Like
system.
Night owl stuff. I've been up at like 2 in the morning doing crap, but then they're gonna think I'm nuts setting us up at 2 in the morning. So I'll literally queue it up for like 4:17 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and it goes out. And this one, I wake up at 6 and hey, let's go, man.
Yeah.
Poor Dave.
do it, bro.
See my Dave, like Dave's probably bad going.
Let's
He's
do it.
mother.
So yeah, Dave is a night owl. Dave's a night owl. It's all good though, man. It's all good. So what's your GPA? So GPA, I've never. So this is a question I'll get a lot when I talk, especially at college level. Did any employers or any interviews did they ask you about your GPA? None. They see it on the paper. Cool, you graduated. Hooray for you. But you know what I mean, like it's you're starting over. It's kind of depressing. It's like it's your first day of swimming, all over again, right? You're like, I was so good. I was a college athlete. Now I'm. Think of like everything that you've accomplished, which is awesome. So the second you're out of here, you're nobody again. It's depressing. It sucks. But you know where you're going, and you got all this stuff going. All right, you're gonna be just fine. So GPA that matters. What is your goal? What is your plan? And I can't spell. And what is the action that I'm going to take right now to do that? So your GPA that matters, your goal, your plan, your action. Especially you two, you're the queens of preparation, details, getting it all dialed in. If you don't take action the next day, who cares how prepared and perfect life is if you don't get up the next day and start working it, right? So this one thing you want to commit to memory as well, especially when you are in a state of anxiety, stress, and you're stuck in whatever's going on around you that's consuming you. Action is always the best medicine. Take a step back, say, what can I do right now to make this right? Okay, so if you screw up, something happened, doesn't matter. Just action is always the best medicine, because otherwise you're just sitting and you're stewing in the anxiety and stress of whatever is happening around you. Cool. Bonus tips here. This is something George makes fun of me and Dave makes fun of me because all my presentations are completely different because I'm just talking about the most recent thing that has changed my life. But your job, my job, anyone's job. So I finally got this promotion that I screwed up. It took me 8 years to regain that trust. I finally got, Monday's my first day is promoted, bruh, whatever. But so what I'm telling the other leaders around me, and again, they're coming to me a lot because even though I wasn't on paper, so again, you don't have to be the leader on paper. You don't have to be the boss on paper to be the boss, be the leader. For the last 8 years, I found a way to be the leader, be the boss without it being my title. I finally got the title, right? But now everybody that's had the titles, they're asking me, well, what should we do? How do we do this? I don't know. I'm new here. I didn't even start yet. You know what I mean? So think of it, but what my message to them was, it's like, why are we putting all this pressure on ourselves to know exactly what we're going to do, right? We got to have a goal, got to have a plan, we got to take action. I know this is what we're going to do. Press repeat. Set a goal, build a plan, take action on it. Your job is not to know what's going to happen. You're not supposed to know what you're going to do. Your job is to figure it out. Your job is to figure out how you're going to do something. Does that make sense? Did you know how, Gary, did you know how to play football out of the womb? You just came out with a football. You're like, yes! No, you had to figure it out, right? Performing arts? Did you? That's so easy. You're just born with it, right? Same thing, soccer, swimming, volleyball. What's coach going to tell you? Figure it out. All right? They're running, they change the play. Figure it out. Lastly, and this is probably the number one thing. I keep saying, this is the number one thing. Please write this down. This is the number one thing. Everything's the number one thing. It all matters. possessions, do we own them or do they own us? Go ahead. We own them? Okay. So has there ever been a moment where you've been stressed about your possessions? Probably. Okay. Have you ever gotten any possessions stolen or lost or broken? How did you feel? Not good. Right? So physically, we own our possessions, right? Mentally, like under the surface, they own us. And this is something that's taken me a long talking about this whole starting from the bottom, knowing nothing, having no background in business, to now being top in the world at it. What's cool is when your business gets profitable, you can start buying all these possessions that you thought were going to make you happy. Less is so much more. The less you have, the less you got to worry about. And again, it's not, I buy things that my wife thinks I'm insane for buying, but those are the things, those are the possessions that make me happy, okay? Same thing. She buys stuff that I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Why do we need a dish towel for every single holiday? I don't know. But love you, babe. Love you, but this is recorded, right? So, love you. All right. So this is getting into another thing that I think that your generation is really bringing to light as well, is you're able to see, and I know I was able to see it, and George, I know you've seen it in other generations where the people have all the stuff. They worked every hour, every day. They have they have the car, the house, the this, the that. They are miserable. They're empty because how can I have fun if I scratch my new Mercedes? It's, especially if you have kids, they're going to destroy your house. So like, if kids are your path one day, just understand it's cool. It's okay. Your room will not be clean, and it's cool. It's okay. So, so that's what I'll leave you with is we don't own our possessions. They own us. So just understand, when I was talking about chasing the title, chasing the position, chasing the money, I'm not telling you, if you are going into business, you will not be, you need money, right? You need money to operate. But understand that you're going to, if you get to that point, you're going to have X amount of dollars to your name. And that was the X amount of dollars. When I had $18, I'm like, if I just had $100, I'd have no stress. I got $100. I'm like, if I just had $1,000, I'd have no stress. Myself 10 years ago envisioned like what it would be like if I was where I'm at now. I got a family, I got kids, my business is established. I'll have no worries. What did I say? Do I have a lot of worry in my life? A lot of stress? Because another thing, I think, Spider-Man? It's like, I'm going to butcher it. It's like, with great power comes great responsibility. Another way I've heard it said is, goals achieved become responsibilities. Be very careful what you wish for. Because if there's anything I learned through 2020, I would have killed to have more family time. Anybody's like, what's the one thing that you would wish for? I'm like, more family time. And this is when JJ was 3, Julia's 1, not even 1 and 3. Maybe, yeah. And COVID happens, we're quarantined. I have nothing but family. I have all the family time I ever dreamed of. But so it wasn't exactly how I planned it. So life is going to give you exactly what you want. Just 99% chance it's never how you wanted it. So again, expectations. Bailey, you're going to succeed. Ned, you're going to succeed. Katie, you're going to succeed. Kenzie, you're going to succeed. Garrett, you're going to succeed. I don't know if you'll be like me, where you're crossing the stage, getting your diploma, and you're like, crap, there's no employers waiting for me. I thought they would be on stage waiting for me to sign me up, give me a salary, make me a manager of 100 people. All right? I don't know if that's going to be you. I don't know if you're going to find that dream job right away. Whatever is going to happen, just understand, keep being yourself, build that personal brand, create that space for yourself, have fun. And if it's not working, call George. He's the he's the professor. He's supposed to know everything. So thank you for letting me be here. This was a blast. So thank you for helping me out.